Okay, so this is a quadratics question, but has a little bit extra that you have to deal with. And so I'm going to go through the first part, and then we're going to look at the key thing I want to focus on is actually the second part. So we're asked to solve. It is a quadratic because you can see there's an x squared term there. So and it asks to correct to one decimal place. So straight away that's the minus b formula. And that will be in the formula books, and where the a refers to the x squared coefficient, the b refers to the x coefficient, and the c value refers to the constant on the end. So here we have a equal to 1, b equal to -4, and c equal to 2. So if we use the formula, x is going to be minus 4 plus or minus the square root of -4 all squared, minus 4 lots of A, lots of C, all divided by 2 lots of A. Now, the key thing to be aware of here is that you're going to have to make sure, firstly, that negative is dealt with correctly. So that's +4. We have then next thing that you're going to make mistakes on is the -4. If you don't put brackets around the -4 that's then being squared, it's going to go wrong. Sometimes your calculator gives you the wrong number to the compared to the question, and sometimes you just get math error. So make sure you got brackets around that. So -4 all squared minus 4 lots of 1 lots of 2. So it's basically 16 take away 8. Okay, which is 8. And then that's all divided by 2. Now, you might want to get your calculator, and you can just do the whole thing on a calculator all in one go if you want to. -4 plus the square root of brackets -4 all squared -4 times by 1 times by 2 all over 2 lots of 1. Okay, and you get 2 root 2. That's the positive version, and then it's also the negative version. So your two answers are 2 plus root 2 and 2 minus root 2. Just very quickly with that, if I could choose to just do most of the working in my head, and then just do the working afterwards. The key idea of what's going on here is just so you realize where that comes from. The 2 is dividing both the 4 and the root 8, but the root 8 in itself you need to appreciate is 2 root 2. Okay, so 8 is 4 times 2. The 4 comes outside the square root and becomes the 2 and leaves the other factor inside. So when you divide 4 by 2, you get 2, and you divide 2 root 2 divided by 2, you get root 2. So 2 plus root 2 and 2 minus root 2. So very quickly, as a number, that's 3.414. Correct to one decimal place is 3.4, and if you want to go back in and do the negative version, you get 0.6, correct to one decimal place. Okay, now that's correct to one decimal place. Sometimes it's 2. You have to go with whatever the question says. Right now, okay, this is the key bit here I want to concentrate on. Use your answers to part 1. Okay, so these are the two answers. Okay, to find correct to one decimal place the two values of k for which. Now, what on earth is it going on about? What's this got to do with part 1? Well, if you look really carefully at what you've got there, okay, you'll see actually it's very similar to the previous question part. So x squared minus 4x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, I've just noticed that there's a connection between these two. So instead of x, we've got k minus 5. Instead of x, they've got k minus 5. So here, the whole idea is you need to realize there's a connection between what's in those brackets and the previous letter used. So x equals k minus 5. So, but we know what x is. X is either 3.4 or 0.6. So we have 3.4 equaling to k minus 5. And if I add 5 to both sides, I get 8.4. And the other scenario is 0.6 is equal to k minus 5. Again, add 5, and I get k as being 5.6. So these sorts of questions, they have occurred occasionally, and it's not one that comes up too often, to be honest with you. But the point here is you actually have all the skills needed. Okay, you can solve a quadratic and get two solutions, and then what you need to realize, this is about whether you got that problem solving skills. Can you spot the connection between what they give you in part 2 and what was in part 1? There's invariably a very simple sort of comparison between the two, and it comes down to ability to realize there's basically a substitution. Something's being put instead of the x. So you have the x's, so make those two numbers equal to whatever has been substituted instead. So that's what brought me this line here. Okay, so have a go at those questions I've set you today, and hopefully you'll realize that part 2, generally speaking, is a very simple bit of substitution for one value and then for the second value. Okay. Any questions, just ask.